Good morning. Welcome to Money and Mindset with Dr. Stephanie Ardrey, known as Dr. Money, and Dr. Thyonne Gordon, known as Story Genius. Hey, TG, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, good. You look great. You look like you've been out there getting your workout on, lady.
I was walking at least, but I had on a jacket. I just took it because once you get in a good little walk, you start getting warm. So you're going to want my jacket back on in a second.
That's wonderful. Well, in Vegas, it had to be extra cold overnight. I'm telling you, the temperature must have dropped a little bit. I was freezing.
It's cold here too. I'm in Santa Barbara still, so it was pretty cold here, and I like to walk down by the ocean, and that made it even colder. So I didn't. I walked the wetlands instead, which was nice.
Got it. Well, we've got an exciting week.
Wait a minute. How did the fight go?
You saw me. I tried to brush past that really fast. Let's just say they're done.
And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing.
We can check the list off. Finals done.
Yes. That's what you want to do. Check off.
Right. And then go with, okay, so lesson learned, about the rest of the stuff, but finals done. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So as long as I'm still in school, then, God is good, right? Favor.
That is what we are going to be talking about today, I think.
Yes. The importance of that favor and recognizing having that strong faith, right?
Yeah.
Which is very interesting because I thought our last week conversation with Kalila was very insightful. And, one of the things, remember, I'd asked her about a particular book because some of the things that she was experiencing and just her resilience in getting back up made me think about a couple of things, but it also made me think about sometimes how in life along our journey, it seems that we have these kind of similar or recurring experiences. And I have at times wondered, is it that there was a lesson that we meant to learn in a prior experience that somehow or another we missed? So we kind of keep having almost like a Groundhog Day where it's like a do-over, another opportunity to get the lesson. And I kept thinking there was a book that was on the tip of my tongue and I couldn't come up with the name of the book. But this is the book. It's Loving What Is. I don't know if you've ever read this, Loving What Is by Byron Katie.
I haven't.
This book is, and I have amazing library of books, and it made me think about that as well, that it's interesting, but it shouldn't be surprising that we have been doing a series called Money and Mindset, because when I think back over the entire course of my career, even as a young person, that I spent about equal time perfecting my knowledge about my business topic, as well as investing in mindset and development, personal development. So, I say, I probably have about 5,000 or more books in my library, but if I look, probably a good half of them or a third of them are related to things about mindset and developing yourself to be effective in whatever it is that you're looking to do.
Right. Yeah. And that's so important to educate yourself. We talked about that, to educate yourself. And a lot of it is not education like going back to school. A lot of it is just education, like getting some internal information about how you operate, how your body operates, and how we walk, how we do our walk, our path, our journey in life. So that's a great book. That's one. And I know on Wednesday, we're going to talk about more books in terms of books that can help to inspire and to uplift and to get your skill sets going. So I'm excited about learning about some of the books. One of my favorites is Marianne Williamson. She has a lot of great books to help you explore who you are. But in that whole journey of exploring who you are, it just so happens yesterday I was listening to Bishop Kenneth Ulmer for his service. And now with COVID, everybody's service is at 9:30. I'm like, okay, can somebody do like a 7 a.m. and somebody do at 9:30 like we used to? Because I like to kind of church hop or message hop so I can hear different messages from different people. And I do that now. I listen to True Vine 896 on Sunday mornings. I listen to Hope's House. I listen to Bishop Ulmer. I listen to West Angeles Bishop Blake. So that I have my whole list of people I'm trying to flip back and forth. So I have all my little devices on. But Bishop Ulmer, I was excited to hear him because he's such a great teacher at Faithful Central Bible Church. And he wasn't going to teach on Sunday. And I was like, oh, man, I really wanted to hear him. So I started not to listen. But he said he had spoken to a very dear friend who he speaks to maybe, 2 or 3 times a week. He's like, this is a good friend, an advisor, a counsel to him. And the person gave him a message that he felt everyone needed to hear. And part of that message was basically that we're all human and we all get down. Because Bishop Ulmer was sharing that in a very vulnerable way, saying, hey, this has been a tough year. It's been a tough year for me. So I know it must be a tough year for y'all because y'all are counting on me and I've been having a tough time.
Right.
And in sharing that, I just thought, wow, so many times people see you and I on here every morning, or Bishop Ulmer, or anyone that seems like they're in a position of power or a position where they're doing something that people would like to do. And they think, wow, that couldn't be me. I wouldn't be able to do it. But the message that Bishop wanted to share through this other pastor out of the Bahamas was an upgraded faith. And man, I was like, ooh, I want that. I want upgraded faith. What's upgraded faith? And I listened to his message, and it was a wonderful, wonderful message. So part of what he talked about in upgraded faith is we have to have a faith that is different than the pre-COVID faith. During the pre-COVID faith, we did a lot of what we talk about, Stephanie. We get cagey, we clear the clutter, we assess things, we have gratitude, we execute, and we bring in ourselves, our unique selves. Then once we start manifesting these things, we celebrate. Yay, it happened. Yay, yay, yay. That was the pre-COVID walk. That was the pre-COVID faith. The new upgraded faith, what this pastor spoke on was the celebration is first. So we still got a C up there. I guess we could do celebrate, clear the clutter. So he talked about celebrating before the manifestation even occurred. And that comes from the scripture of, I think it's Hebrews 1:11. Faith is the substance of evidence of things unseen, substance of what's unheard, or something like that. I'll look it up before we get off here. But to think about the manifestation, that it's already there, that's the upgraded faith. So it's knowing whatever your walk is supposed to be, whatever that journey is that you're going towards, the abundance that you desire, it's already there. So you celebrate that now and still walk through the process of manifestation for it to come to life. And I just thought it was such an uplifting message that today we could talk about that a little bit.
Oh my gosh, that is so powerful. It's so interesting because I was having this conversation about faith and just, kind of reiterating the importance of, remember, it's about believing. And if you can already see it, if it's already there, you don't need faith. It's right there. You see it, right? So it's that strong belief. But it's so interesting that I was telling Sterling, because he teased me. He says, Mommy, you seem like you have a case of senioritis that I had my last year of high school. And it made me think, I was like, I have been in school for a minute now. To go from a PhD program, do a doctoral dissertation, and start right into law school, I started doing the math, and I'm like, oh my God, if I had thought about those years on top of each other, I probably would have said, no way, no how, I'd have to be a crazy woman. And so I said, yeah, there is a point of being a little bit fatigued, right? But I told him, I said, in the doctoral program, when it started getting close to the end and I felt that fatigue, I remembered that I started celebrating and envisioning myself walking across that stage, collecting my degree. And I said, I guess I have to really dig in to really see myself walking across that stage, getting my, second doctorate, my law degree, and just really hold on to that, which definitely reminds me of what you're saying right now, is acknowledge and stay at the finish line, right? And even taking it a further, seeing myself, past the bar, right? Coming out, hey, I passed, right? And so just really owning that as you're in the process, because you're right, what we focus on will absolutely help us to realize, to manifest that. So it's not about focusing on being in law school, because that I'm past that. I'm in law school. Now, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to graduate. I'm supposed to pass the bar. But with anything that we're talking about in life, and so I could see just the importance of that upgraded faith. I think it's hard on one level, though, to find that joy. I mean, what were the extra pointers about how you find that joy, that celebration right now?
Yeah. So, okay, first I found the scripture, and it was actually Hebrews 11:1. And you guys see, I don't have my glasses on and they're not near me. So bear with me. So now faith, this is from Bible Gateway version. Now faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. And without faith, it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. So that is the Bible Gateway version of saying faith is what we see, what is being sure of what we don't see. So the first thing is, I think the first thing he talked about for upgraded faith was that you have to be sure that you already had faith. So if you look at your pre-COVID faith, it was we trusted, we said we believed, and we started maybe vision boarding and saying, oh, this is going to come, this is going to come, this is going to come. And those are ways to start your manifestation, which we've talked about: vision boarding, mind mapping, gratitude journals, all those type of things are ways to start the manifestation. Now, to begin the celebration, you can celebrate just that you're sitting there getting ready to vision board. Woo, we getting ready to make this thing happen. So celebrating the fact that you can see it, that you know this is already done. And I think about the story of going around the wall 7 times and taking a big shout, and then boom, and the walls came down. That's the kind of thing we have to do. We got to get ready, and we just have to be ready to just know these walls are coming down. The obstacles are going away, and we just need to do a shout, because it's in the shout. And he actually started with the shout. Let me go back. He didn't start with the shout. I told you I church hop. So that was actually Pastor Zach at True Vine 896. Pastor Zach said it's time for us to start with a shout, because there's so much opening now, and it's initiating now. So the initiating period is now. That means in this year, in COVID times, is the initiating period. And so to initiate, we got to be excited about the initiating. And he said, you start that initiation with a shout. I mean, he said you could dance, you could shout, start with the shout, because there's so many things that are bursting forth and happening right now. So if we can just, we have been teaching you to start with the end in mind already. So if you're starting with the end in mind, the end is celebration, right?
Yes.
Go all the way to the end. Don't just go to the end where, oh yes, I received my gift. No, go all the way to the end. I am graduating. Whoa, I'm throwing my cap up. You throw your cap up. You get yourself a cap and start throwing it up every morning for graduation. And that this is how you're celebrating, and start seeing the people that are there celebrating with you. So that's a way to get started, is to start with that shout, start with that dance, get your little dance on and be like, yeah, this is good. This is yummy, yummy, yummy. And put it in everything that you do in that manifestation forward.
Oh, that's excellent. I think it's so perfect because this is my window to upgrade my vision board. And it's amazing because every time, when I'm going through the year, I look at my most recent board and I look to see what has manifested. And then what's my next board, what's missing, what am I looking for in the year coming. I think I have some things to add to the board, so I'm excited about that. It's true. It's true to hold on to those visions, and why not hold on to the joy, right? Sometimes I think we get caught up in the day to day, and therefore you take in the stresses of the day. When you extend the time and you look further out, those stresses of the day will end up being just like drips of drop in the overall puddle or pond of water, if it is you give it a greater enough context, right? If you're just looking at day to day, then you just feel like the stress of that particular day, but expand it out. We're in the last month of the year. The great thing about the calendar year is we are socialized to go through a calendar year and come to a completion of a year and wipe the slate and start all over at a fresh beginning of the new year. And so this is a perfect time to really sit and own this greater faith. How about that? A greater faith.
Mm-hmm.
Not what you had coming into 2020, a greater faith going into 2021.
It's upgraded. I love that word upgraded. Like we're upgrading. We're taking it up a level. That was what he talked about. And if you have nothing else to shout about, that you can actually shout and dance. So we have had a lot of loss this year, a lot of loss, a lot of grief. That you're still here is something to shout about, because that tells you there's a purpose, there's a reason. And so shout about, I know this reason is coming forth, this purpose, whatever it is, it is about to blossom and it's going to happen. The other way, another technique you might use is some reflection time. So think about those things that you have manifested and get your shout on that they actually happen, so you know the next thing can happen. If this one happened, why can't the next one happen?
It's so true.
Yeah, so we want to look at, if you have to, reflect on that board that actually already happened and start dancing on that one and dance into the next one. And then Dr. Money, you got to do your dance because you got to start practicing your dance anyway.
Well, on that, I have to tell you that I have been holding myself towards that dance. You know what she's talking about, guys? She tricked me, and I agreed to do that Trinidad Carnival at 2022.
It's just a question.
I guess, is now what's coming up, the next one. So she's had me on this workout, and guess what? It's working because I'm seeing my little abs take shape again. And, I'm like, everything is getting tight. It's getting tight. It's getting right.
That's right. So that's another reason for you to dance personally. As I always share, for people to make sure to keep their bodies moving and things like that. That's another reason to shout and dance and really be ready for this season that's coming, because this is the time of initiation. Initiation means we're preparing, we're getting into it, and then it starts to flourish. And I think that the windows of opportunity are going to open for so many this year who are ready to accept it, who are ready to upgrade their faith and accept that it's happening. Not that, oh, maybe it'll happen. No, it is. So it is true. And I'm excited for anyone listening or watching, because this upgraded faith means we are going to not only celebrate in advance, clear out the clutter, assess what we're doing, have gratitude, execute our plan, and put ourselves into it. But when we get to that execution and education of what it is we need to do, we get to a level of wisdom. And Greg just mentioned that in the chat, actually, in terms of the difference between education and wisdom. The more you educate yourself, the more you listen to self-help tips, the more you listen to audiobooks, the more you learn. And the more you learn, you have this abundance within you of knowledge that subconsciously you can begin to pull from and tap into. And that is getting the wisdom of the ages. Upgraded faith is also about wisdom, knowing that it's going to manifest. So you get to celebrate. When you're wise, you already know my creator, whatever you want to call him, I call him God. My creator says it is, and so it is. And so I can celebrate because I know that he's never let me down. Never let me down. I always say I'm the king's kid. And as the king's kid, I have been blessed abundantly over and over and over, even when I doubted, even when I didn't have the upgraded faith, even when I had itty bitty faith, the faith of not even a mustard seed. I was never let down. And so I can walk by that faith now, and I can celebrate because I can see that. I know that. I know the possibilities because I've already lived them. And each of us has lived them if we're here today. That's it. That's it right there. Celebrate life if you must. Every morning, celebrate and say thank you.
And I think that you're touching on such an important point here, because as the year comes to completion, a lot of times people start to slowly zone out, and you move into a different state, maybe family or different things or whatever, or some people are just emotionally drained, from the year of activities. But I think it's so important to take some time to plan. A lot of times when things slow down, the easy thing is to, find a good couch and turn on the TV and just veg in front of the TV. Well, sure, you can take some emotional downtime, but I would challenge you to set aside some planning time within that. Don't just let it all get sucked up into series that, keep playing or whatever. And before you know it, you've spent hours in front of the TV and that's about all that you've gotten accomplished. Spend some time preparing, because there is definitely truth about opportunities. That's really what we were talking about just in our whole journey in Jamaica, and some of the business opportunities that were presented. Those opportunities I would not have been able to step into if I had to go and get ready. I was only able to step into these opportunities because I had already been preparing for them. Not exactly sure when or how or what they would look like, but I was definitely prepared to easily step into the opportunities and be able to move forward. And there were some times, because I would tell Sterling, he's like, Mommy, well, why are you doing this? Mommy, why are you doing that? Mommy, why are you doing all these, classes? I've done classes for years, all of his life. He's seen Mommy. He's been, we were rolling his little bassinet into a conference room to hear Mommy speak, and he's like, Mommy, I'll be 24 and I've been coming to your classes all my life, so you have talked until you blew in the face. So, what's up with that? And the thing that's so interesting is, here we go. Now, this week, for example, I'm going to be doing one of the bigger presentations that I have done in a long time. This will be a kind of a reintroduction to a big stage for the event that I'm participating in with Dr. James Dentley, Limitless for Women, for example. They've got all of these powerful presenters. And so when I think about it, it's like, yeah, of course, I'm supposed to be in this group with these other speakers because I have been doing the work. So it's not anything new. It's like, yeah, absolutely. I have content. I have a presentation. I know how to deliver it. I have a training. So absolutely, I'm ready to walk into that. Now, if this had been presented and I didn't have that foundation, then I wouldn't be ready to take advantage of the opportunity. I would not be ready to have to go and scramble, and I wouldn't have been able to get ready in the timeline with finals and all these other things. So, just kind of another example of doing the work in advance so that you're prepared for the opportunity when you intersect with that opportunity.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you said that, because this is the season for binge watching on Netflix and Hulu. And I am a binge watcher. I admit it. I have to say I'm a binge watcher, but I know when I have to stop. So I have to set my time. My daughter and I actually will set a time and we say, what are we going to binge watch? And we watch, and I mean, we go from every season to try to watch it. She'll even say, okay, I got to run. I got to go to the bathroom. Put it on pause. I'm like, no, I want to keep watching. So Greg put in the chat, binge learn and binge grow.
Hey.
We got to binge educate ourselves. So just like we set that time to binge watch, we can set our time to binge plan. And we have some goodies that'll be coming up where I'm going to be having a post-it party. And my post-it parties are planning parties. So it's post-it planning parties. And I may just invite some folk to do the post-it party with me and do it up on a Zoom post-it party. But it's a lot of fun. It's a great way to start your planning. You basically get a lot of Post-its. I like colorful Post-its. And you're going to start jotting down the things that you have to get done for the year, the things that you know you're going to get done. And you put on some music and you have an accountability partner with you, at least one person to help brainstorm with. And then you can move those things around of how you're going to get them done. It's like project planning. So it's a fun way to put your life together for the year. And it's absolutely a great way to begin with celebrating and doing that upgraded faith walk, because as you're posting these things, you can switch them around. And I like to use Post-its because you switch things out. You're sort of like, nope, this isn't going to work. And at the end of the day, I also have a wall that is my one day, maybe never wall. Because we all have
wait. You went past that one too fast. One day, maybe never.
Never.
Okay.
Those are the things that I would love to do. I really want to do these things. They are not for me to do in this upcoming cycle. And so they have to go someplace so that I don't forget them. And that's where a lot of us get stuck because we have so many different things that we want to do. And I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. And we have all this good intention. But then we have all of this and it's like, what am I going to do with all this? We really have to pick like one thing to get started on. And I teach the whole course on pick one. And it's hard to pick one. You pick one and you blossom out. But when you have a lot of them, put them up on the one day, maybe never wall, because one day you may get to it, but maybe you won't. But at least you wrote it down and the idea is there. And maybe that idea will manifest in the universe and someone else can do it. And you can say, yay, I'm so glad that got done because I knew it would be good for the world.
That's interesting because, so when I'm talking about companies and organizations, that would be what we call our research and development bucket, meaning that it's not fully baked just yet, but it's something that if we end up having some resources that we can allocate towards, we'll do a little research and development and determine when the right time is, as well as the business journal, because I still do a business concept journal. Sometimes you have a brilliant business concept, but you don't have all of the tools necessary to implement, or it might not be right for the market just yet. And so what do you do with that? So I keep a journal of those business concepts and I'll go back sometimes. And some of them, you're right, are absolutely manifested. And you're like, wow, I knew that was a great idea. And here it is. Now someone has brought it forth to the universe, so that people could take advantage of that idea. So I love this because you also talk on this idea of organization. And that's really one of the things that I experienced, especially when times were challenging, is that it can't all be a one. You have to be willing to pick and organize and have something be the number one focus. And I was telling someone this actually last week about, we're having a conversation about, different objectives or wanting to accomplish particular goals. And it's like, listen, you've got to pick. Everything is not going to fit on your plate because you're going to dilute your efforts and resources too much in order to accomplish anything. I'd rather have a funnel, focus, laser focused view on what it is that I want to accomplish and see that all the way through to fruition. And so what that means is if somebody comes up and they have a new something that they want to present, I have to think about, is that thing more important than what I'm focused on right at this moment, such that I'm willing to put that thing that I'm focused on the back burner and then shift to focus on this other thing? Because in order to fully deliver, you can't be that diluted. You just can't.
Right. You have to know your no. You have to know your no. You have to know when it is, this is a no. This is a no. We can celebrate and upgrade our faith and everything, but we also have to know our no. Just like you know what the yes is, which is that one thing that you're going to focus on for now. So, you know me, I like to make things really simple. You call it a business journal. I call it a one day, maybe never wall. One day I might do this. Maybe I'll never do it. I actually have been trying to parachute since I was 16 years old. And every time I've taken classes, I've gone so that I could do my jump, and something happens every time.
Wow.
So parachuting was on my one day, maybe never wall. But when I had so many incidents of it not happening, I was sort of like, this should be never. That should be never. Because sometimes God gives you signs. It's sort of like, yeah, I told you that's not the thing to do. So I've flown a plane because one person said to me, why would you jump out of a plane when you could fly one? So I was like, okay, yeah, let me do that. But I've never been able to parachute. And I keep thinking, maybe I'll put it back on the wall. But again, there have been so many thwarted attempts. I'm thinking, this may be a maybe never. So it's on my, it's still on the maybe, it's still on the one day, maybe never wall. But this year, I actually may toss that one. I might just say, I'm done with that one. I'm old enough to not have to jump out of a plane anymore. So, but anyway, we've got some exciting guests, an exciting guest coming up tomorrow. You want to share a little bit about that? And we can probably close out.
Yeah, so tomorrow we're going to have a brilliant guest. He goes by Firestarter. And he's going to share a powerful message. He's a coach and mentor, primarily to males, dropping knowledge on how to develop into your full self, as well as how to be a partner in relationship. So it's going to be an exciting conversation. Again, the thing that I want to share that's coming up this week that I want people to think about, direct their friends to, is on Friday morning. I'll be speaking for Limitless for Women. You can go to limitlessforwomen.com and get information there. If you decide that you're interested in that program, put in Dr. Money. There's going to be a special drawing for the folks who register and use Dr. Money as their code for registration. It's going to be a powerful presentation from December 11 to 13, featuring all of these powerful women bringing content, and men, to the table. So more about that coming up as well. And I think we just have an exciting week. And then we also talked about that we're going to take a little downtime too through this holiday time so that we can reflect and recast for the next year. So I think this is our last full 4 days week, and then next week we're going to come back for just 2 days, and the following week we'll be off. I think that's probably Christmas week or something like that.
Invite people to the post-it party that week, because that's the time to do a post-it party.
That would be excellent. I think I would love to participate in that post-it party. So yeah, so an exciting week for everyone. And looking forward to, again, having these conversations, dropping some nuggets of wisdom and empowering you to finish strong and start the celebration now.
Yes. Upgrade that faith and move into celebrating. Then you start your clearing of your clutter and moving forward. So have a fantastic day. I hope everybody gets some sun in. If you're not in a sunny place, get some snow in, or whatever it is you get from daylight and the environment. So enjoy your day.
All righty, guys. Take care. We'll be back tomorrow. You know it. Same place, same time.